But these criminals now, they don't hide themselves, and they don't mind losing money. They also don't mind investing their time, like giving you their time so that they can build trust between you and them so that they can eventually rob you.
In South Africa, love scams are becoming alarmingly common, with con artists preying on vulnerable individuals for financial gain. These scammers pretend to be loving, trustworthy partners only to manipulate victims emotionally and drain their savings. From fake business ventures to fabricated emergencies, they exploit trust and leave victims heartbroken and financially devastated. Hello everybody, welcome back to Mysterious Matters. If you're new here, please subscribe and hit the notification bell just to stay updated. The heartbreaking scam that cost a principal 2.8 million rands. Nota Ando, a Johannesburg mother in her 50s, was left devastated after a year-long relationship turned out to be a meticulously planned scam. It all began in January 2023 when a man introducing himself as Henry came to her school, a public institution where she worked as a principal. Henry claimed he was looking for a spot for his son. Although the school had no immediate openings, Nota Ando, as the head of admissions, gave him her work cell number to check back on availability. A week later, Henry started calling her, and soon the conversations turned personal. He was gentle, polite, and persistent, asking for permission to call or text her. His charm and attentiveness gradually won her over. Despite her initial hesitation, Nota Ando agreed to go on a date with him. On March 12, 2023, the couple met at the restaurant in Wonderboom Junction, Pretoria. It was a perfect evening, complete with takeaways for her two sons, an act of care that endeared Henry to her even more. Over time, Henry portrayed himself as a humble man, driving an old Volkswagen Polo Vivo that occasionally broke down. He attended events with her, paid for their dates, and appeared to genuinely care for her and her family. From rugby match viewings to a B.B. Weenan's concert, there was nothing about their relationship that seemed suspicious. As their bond grew, Henry suggested they invest in a business together. A dedicated educator for 30 years had just retired and received her pension payout of 2.8 million rands. She proposed investing in student accommodation, a booming sector in Johannesburg. Henry agreed, claiming he would contribute even more than her share to the venture. The plan, however, took a bizarre turn when Henry insisted they seek ancestral blessings for the business to succeed. In January 2024, Nota Ando visited her rural home for this purpose, while Henry claimed he would be performing his own rituals in the mountains. When she returned to Johannesburg, he was nowhere to be found. This story may sound familiar to many, as scams like these have become alarmingly common. In fact, Owami once featured a woman on her channel who was scammed out of over 500,000 rand by a Ugandan national. These scammers often use cultural practices such as claiming to involve ancestors to manipulate their victims emotionally and financially. Initially, Nota Ando was not alarmed, believing he was simply out. But as days passed, his phone went to voicemail and attempts to reach his so-called brother also failed. She drove to his house, but it was dark and empty. That's when the harsh reality began to set in. She was left financially and emotionally shattered. The man she trusted had disappeared with her pension. Her family, once accustomed to a comfortable life, now struggled to make ends meet. She lost 13 kilograms in just 2 weeks, locked herself in her room, and even contemplated suicide. As she pieced together what had happened, she discovered that Henry had used a South African woman's bank account for the transactions. The woman admitted to opening the account for him. No arrests have been made. 2 weeks after vanishing, Henry flaunted his newfound wealth by posting a video on TikTok showing off a luxurious Mercedes-Benz. She has since hired a private investigator and continues to fight for justice. Her advice to others is clear. Love is a beautiful thing, but can also cause immense pain if one meets the wrong person. Fall in love, but with your eyes wide open. The police investigation is ongoing, and Nota Ando hopes her story will serve as a warning to others to stay vigilant in matters of love and trust. In our second story, we have a former teacher that was scammed about 1.8 million rands in dating fraud. The Hawks in Limpopo have arrested a 33-year-old South African man for his alleged involvement in a dating scam that defrauded a 58-year-old former school teacher of 1.8 million rands. The South African man's involvement seems to have been a planned move to help set up the teacher. The arrest followed an in-depth investigation into a romantic relationship that turned into a financial nightmare. According to the Hawks, the victim met a Ghanaian national at a shopping mall in Burgersfort in January 2023. In August, the man reconnected with her and they began a romantic relationship. By October 2023, the Ghanaian proposed they start a business together, claiming he had found 2 trucks necessary for their venture. The trucks, he said, would cost 3 million rands. Trusting her partner, the teacher went to a bank and transferred 1.8 million rands to a bank account he provided. She was expecting the trucks to be delivered soon. After the transaction, the teacher attempted to contact the Ghanaian man, but her calls went unanswered. Realizing she had been scammed, she reported the matter to the police, and a case of theft was opened. The Hawks took over the investigation and traced the 1.8 million rands to the bank account of the arrested suspect. A warrant for his arrest was issued and he was apprehended in Northwest Province in December 2024. The suspect appeared in the magistrate's court outside Burgersfort facing charges of theft and fraud. The case was postponed to December 11th, 2024 for a bail application. Meanwhile, the Hawks are still searching for the Ghanaian national believed to be the mastermind behind the scam. The provincial head of the Hawks urged the public to be cautious and vigilant against dating scams, warning that scammers often prey on vulnerable individuals. This case highlights the importance of exercising caution in romantic relationships, especially when financial transactions are involved. Scammers can use love and trust as tools to manipulate and exploit their victims. Thank you so much for watching. Please stay tuned for more stories like this.